POV. You're trapped underground. Every level of a cave collapse. You are in complete darkness. You cannot stand up. The ceiling came down 40 minutes ago, and you have approximately 6 hours of breathable air if you stay completely calm. You cannot stay completely calm. The rock above you weighs 11,000 tons. The surface is 40 meters up. Nobody knows exactly where you are. But to understand how you got here, we need to go back to the beginning. Level 1. The entry. The cave was not supposed to be dangerous. You have been here before, not this deep, but the first 2 chambers are well mapped, and the group you came with has done this route 4 times. The decision to go deeper was made casually, the way bad decisions usually are. Someone saw a passage. Someone said it looked stable. Someone said 20 more minutes. You went 20 more minutes. The signs were there. A fine dust falling from the ceiling that wasn't falling before. A change in the air pressure that you registered and did not name. A sound somewhere behind the rock, low and structural, that you heard and filed as nothing. These things were there. You noticed them the way you notice something you have decided not to examine. Then the ceiling came down. Not all at once, not dramatically. A section of the passage behind you shifted, then settled, then shifted again. And then the sound was total, and the light was gone, and the dust was everywhere, and you were on the ground, and it was over in under 4 seconds. 4 seconds from the first movement to complete stillness, then silence. The specific silence of underground rock, which is different from every other silence because it has weight. Level 2. The immediate aftermath. Your headlamp is still working. This is the first piece of information. You run it across the space you now occupy. Roughly 3 meters long, 1 meter wide, 1 meter high at the tallest point. You can sit, but not stand. The collapse behind you is total, a wall of broken limestone from floor to ceiling. The passage ahead is partially open, narrowing to a gap you could fit through if you had to. You have a water bottle, 2/3 full, a thin fleece jacket, a phone with no signal and 40% battery. You have a companion somewhere behind the collapse, or were. You called their name twice. No answer. You do not call again because calling uses air, and air is now the primary resource. You check your body. A cut on your forearm, not deep. Your left knee hit something in the fall and will stiffen. Nothing broken that you can tell. The temperature is 11 degrees Celsius. It will not change. Underground temperature is constant regardless of the season above you. You know this from somewhere, and knowing it helps briefly and then stops helping. The first rational thought arrives about 8 minutes after the collapse. You need to slow your breathing. Everything else depends on that. Level 3. The weight. The mathematics of an enclosed space are not complicated. You have roughly the air volume of a small car. At a resting breathing rate, you have 6 to 8 hours. At the elevated rate, your body wants to breathe right now. You have considerably less. Every hour of calm buys you an hour of survival. Every spike of panic costs you 15 minutes you cannot recover. This is the information that governs the next several hours. Not hope, not rescue plans. Breath rate. You sit with your back against the least unstable wall and you count your breaths. In for 4 seconds. Out for 4 seconds. This is not meditation. This is arithmetic. The cold works against you steadily. 11 degrees feels manageable for the first hour. By the second hour, it is in your hands and feet. By the third hour, it is in your thinking. Cold slows cognition in ways you cannot detect from the inside. You do not know you are thinking slower. You just think. The headlamp goes to its lowest setting at the 2-hour mark to preserve battery. The darkness at its lowest setting is not complete, but it is close enough that your eyes begin manufacturing shapes in it. You close your eyes. This helps. The silence is the hardest part. Not the dark, not the cold, not even the arithmetic of the air. The silence of underground rock is a physical thing. It presses. Sound travels differently down here. Your own heartbeat becomes audible in a way it never is above ground. By hour 4, you have stopped checking the time because checking the time is a form of panic you cannot afford. Someone knows the general area where you entered the cave. That is the calculation you return to. General area. General. You stay calm because calm is the only resource you have left that you can control. Level 4. The decision. At the 5-hour mark, you hear something. Not rescue. Something settling in the debris wall behind you. A shift minor, but shifts in collapsed rock are not minor. They are announcements. You now have 2 options, and both of them have kill rates you can calculate without much difficulty. Option 1. Stay. Wait for rescue in a space that may shift further. The statistical case for staying is strong. Most people who die in cave collapses die attempting self-rescue through unstable debris. The debris moves. They trigger secondary collapses. They get further in and cannot get out. The cave does not reward effort. It rewards stillness. Option 2. The narrow gap in the passage ahead. You measured it with your hands during hour 2. Roughly 40 centimeters at its narrowest. You could fit. Whether what is beyond it is open space or another wall of debris, you do not know. You do not know because you cannot know without going, and going means committing. You hear the debris wall shift again. Smaller this time. Maybe settling. Maybe the beginning of something larger. You stay. This is the correct decision. You will not know it was correct for several more hours, and the not knowing is its own kind of endurance. Level 5. The second collapse. You hear the rescue team at the 6-hour mark. Not voices. Percussion. The rhythmic sound of equipment working through rock from above and to the left. They are there. They know approximately where you are. They are coming. You tap the wall 3 times. You wait. 3 taps come back. This is the best moment. Then the sound changes, a low-frequency vibration in the rock that you feel in your spine before you hear it. Then, the second collapse. Not above you. Somewhere in the rescue corridor, between your position and where the team is working. The percussion stops. The tapping stops. The silence returns, this time with the additional information that the corridor between you and help has just become more complicated. You are now in a different problem than the one you were managing. The air calculation resets. The rescue timeline resets. You have been down here for 6 hours and 10 minutes. You ran the numbers at the start. You know what 6 hours means. You slow your breathing. You start the count again. In for 4 seconds. Out for 4. Level 6. The surface. They reach you at the 11-hour mark, not through the original rescue corridor. Through a lateral bore drilled at an angle from 40 meters to your left, a calculation made after the second collapse changed the geometry of the problem. The bore is wide enough, barely. You move through it on your stomach for 8 meters, pushing a small light ahead of you, the rock on all sides so close you can feel your own pulse against it. 8 meters. Then air changes, then light, then hands. The surface is overcast, and the overcast sky is the brightest thing you have ever seen. You cannot open your eyes fully for several minutes. Your core temperature is 34 degrees Celsius. Moderate hypothermia. Your hands do not work correctly. You are given a foil blanket and you cannot feel it. None of this is the hard part. The hard part comes later, in the days after, when the underground follows you. The specific silence of rock appearing in the silence between sounds above ground. The low-frequency vibration in your spine at random moments with no source. The inability to sit in a small room without running the arithmetic again. The cave does not give back what the 11 hours took. What it took is not dramatic, and it is not visible, and no one who is not down there will understand exactly what it is. You were in complete darkness for 11 hours, under 11,000 tons of rock, while someone calculated the geometry of getting you out. And you stayed calm, because calm was the only resource you could control. And it was enough. Barely. And barely is the only measurement that matters when the ceiling comes down. If you want to experience more situations like this one, level by level, subscribe and hit the bell. Every week we put you inside a new system, a new survival scenario, a new hierarchy, and we do not look away from what it actually costs. Drop a comment with the level you think you would have broken at. We read everyone.